What's good, y'all? Welcome to Rick Knows Hoops. This is a YouTube channel dedicated to the game of basketball. Mainly the NBA, but also some other stuff will be in there too. I'm going to let you guys know about that at the end of this video. I'm your host, Tyreek, Rick for short. And I did not plan on recording today, but as we all know, big time news happened in the NBA. James Harden has officially been traded to the Brooklyn Nets. You know, it was something that was talked about during the offseason, photoshops and all of that we saw across social media. But now it's a reality, and it's still kind of surreal to me. I mean, I woke up from a nap to see that, because I got done calling a basketball game myself. I took a little nap before that, and that was the first thing I saw once I woke up and checked my phone. I was like, wow. It's still kind of surreal, honestly, but he finally got out of Houston, which is, what he wanted. And, it ended up being a 4-team trade, 4 teams involved, but it started off as a 3-team, obviously with the Rockets and the Nets being the main two. And then the Cavs was the third team in there. They gave up some draft compensation. The Cavs ended up receiving Jared Allen, Taurean Prince. The Nets obviously got James Harden. That's the only thing that they got out of this. And they gave up 4 first-round picks to get him, and also giving up Karis LeVert. Believe they also gave up Kurucs, who's a wing player off of their bench, or 3-4 man off their bench. And they also gave up Jared Allen, like I said, who went to Cleveland. So, paying a little bit of a price, but for a player of James Harden's caliber, I think that's pretty much worth it in my opinion. And Karis LeVert initially got traded to Houston, but then right after that, he got traded to Indiana for Victor Oladipo, and I believe also a second-round pick went to Indiana with Karis LeVert. So Houston looks totally different now. Obviously, the Nets look totally different, and Indiana looks a little different too. So I guess I'll just start with the Nets, because that's, I'm sure, the team that's everybody's focusing on. I like the move. I mean, I just think it's exciting just to see, 3 superstar players play together. And it's just going to be interesting how that dynamic works. I mean, obviously, they did give up a little bit of depth. Like, Karis LeVert's been playing really good for them, this season. And also, Spencer Dinwiddie's out for the year. And Jared Allen's a big piece for them. So, replacing him is going to be tough. I think he's better than DeAndre Jordan at this point. But, obviously, DeAndre Jordan being so close with KD and Kyrie, he's pretty much safe from that aspect. But, I still kind of like what the Nets have put together. They still have Joe Harris. They still have TLC, Lou Abu-Cabarro. He's a really good guard off of their bench too, kind of, undercover guy. Landry Shamet's still there. They are just thin at the big man position, but, they might be able to just find some, veterans in free agency, or, once the buyout market comes around, they'll have guys that they can, kind of just throw into that backup big man role. I'm not too worried about that. The one thing that you might be worried about is, defensively. But, I mean, already they weren't a great defensive team. So it's they're just adding more offense to the table and just a prolific scorer. This is legit the best scorer in the NBA over the past, few years. James Harden's averaged 30 points the last 3 seasons that he's played. Obviously still having KD and Kyrie is, big. We saw reports that Houston they wanted, Kyrie thrown in the deal, but, you never get superstar for superstar. That just doesn't happen. I talked to a couple of my guys in the group chat about that. They brought up that point. That just never happens. Even Anthony Davis didn't get traded for a superstar. It's a package of things. So, obviously for the Nets, it's exciting. I mean, it's, kind of a mystery how they're going to play, but, honestly, it's if they can't get it done with, 3 of the best players in the league and 3 of the top players at their positions, it might just be bad for them, because they're going all in now. I mean, they gave up 4 first-round picks, unprotected picks. So, it's really all or nothing for this team now. And, those picks going to Houston, which I want to focus on Houston a little bit too, because I don't think that this is a bad package for James Harden. I mean, you're obviously not going to get equal value for a superstar, but one thing that they've been lacking is just future assets, draft picks. And they did a good job this offseason acquiring some future draft picks, but they, use them as trade pieces as well, which was kind of, weird. But now you get 4 first-round picks, starting next year, I believe, is the first pick. And they got 4 pick swaps, too. So, like, they're set up for a decent future as far as, like, drafting goes. And obviously they received Karis LeVert and then flipped him for Victor Oladipo. I like that move because Vo's been playing pretty good this year. I'm not sure what his numbers look like, but just eye test, he's looked a lot better, especially compared to like last season. He just didn't look that good. Still looked like he was hurt a little bit, but he looks a lot better this season. I think pairing him with John Wall, Christian Wood's been playing ridiculous so far. Those 3 together. Boogie's been, a little up and down, but I think he's still just trying to get his legs under him. Still have Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. They got a pretty solid team that, they should still be fun to watch. The West is still deep, so, making the playoffs might be tough, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And now I think everybody's, like, that weight's off their shoulder. Everybody's happy. Because, obviously James, he just wasn't happy there. And that was made evident, I think, in the press conference last night. It was like, I don't know what question he got asked, but he pretty much started going in like, I've done everything I can. He said, I've done everything I can here, and it's not going to happen. I think he made the comment like it's not a fixable situation, basically. Probably butchering that quote, but he said it's not a fixable situation. And I was looking at that, I'm just like, I kind of felt what John Wall was saying when he heard it, because John Wall was like, man, it's only like 9 games in. Because I'm a big James Harden fan. I'm like, I've seen James Harden be able to like take teams worse than this to the conference finals. Like, that's just the type of talent that he is. But like, I kind of felt what John Wall was saying. Like, it's only 9 games. Like, just, like, still give it a little chance. Like, let the season play out. But obviously, if he's not happy, he shouldn't be there, honestly, because not only is it affecting him, like, you can just kind of tell he's not as tuned in as he usually is on the offensive end. Like, he's just having games where he's not taking like his 20 shots, which he always gets at least 20 shots. He has games where he's not. He is leading the league in assists, I believe, or he's like, right at the top. But, he's playing a little passive in my book. But, I just think that's gonna, reset the locker room a little bit. Like, everybody's gonna feel a lot more relieved now that he's gone. Not because like he's a bad player, obviously. James Harden's one of the best in the league. But it's just, if somebody doesn't want to be there, just kind of brings like the aura of the team down a little bit. So, I'm glad for James that, he got his wish, because, I'm happy. I'm just happy to see him as like a James Harden fan. Happy to see him get his wish. And, as far as for the Rockets, I think they did a good job to set themselves up for, a little bit of future success. And, lastly, I'm going to just talk about the other 2 teams involved, the Cavs, the Pacers. I'm going to just start with Cleveland. Cleveland's actually been kind of fun to watch. I mean, they were like the first, couple of weeks. They've been dealing with some injuries since, but I'm going to talk about them, the video I got planned later this week. We're going to talk all about the goods and the bads from these teams, but they received Jared Allen in this trade. Also Taurean Prince, but, they got Jared Allen. They have, like, 30 big men on that roster. Like certified bigs. Like, bigs that, just block shots and rebound. Like Jared Allen, JaVale McGee, and they still have Drummond. Like, I don't know if they're trying to roll out a 3 big lineup or something anytime soon, but they got a lot of bigs over there. Maybe the plans to trade Drummond at some point. He is on the last year of his deal, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know what they got planned. Hopefully they get healthy soon, because, they were a fun team to tune into. Colin Sexton and Garland's been killing it. So, hopefully they just get healthy and they figure out what to do with all these, bigs that they got on the roster. And, lastly, the Pacers. Pacers have been a really good team. Early on in the season, they were playing really good. Like, they were beating people pretty handily. And, they beat the Celtics once. Then they almost beat the Celtics again. But They slowed down a little bit. 7-4 now, so that's still a pretty good record. But I think T.J. Warren's out for a decent amount of time. I'm not really sure what his injury was, but I think he's gonna be out for a while. But Malcolm Brogdon's been balling, and like I mentioned earlier, Victor Oladipo was balling too. And I don't know really. Maybe there's some behind the scenes stuff that we don't know about right now. But the motivation to get Karis LeVert instead of him, maybe it's part of LeVert has more years left on his contract. That might be the main reason, honestly, because Vo's been playing good, but Karis LeVert's he's a bucket, like he's a certified bucket. And I think he's just gonna fit right in, next to Brogdon, next to Sabonis, Miles Turner, and whoever they have running that three. It could be Justin Holiday some games. Sometimes they run Aaron Holiday, in the lineup with whoever the two guards is. So, they're just always a team that seems to be just competitive, like always. So, I'm excited to see like just how they continue to play because, like I said, it just seems like whoever they plug in, they're still able to be a very good team. Now I don't know like how much of a contender they are. I mean, that's to be seen, but from what I've seen so far this season, they've just been playing good ball. Miles Turner looks like Miles Turner. He's blocking shots and shooting a three ball like crazy. And it's gonna be interesting to see how this trade plays out at the end of the day. Kind of just a random trade on a Wednesday afternoon. Like I don't think anybody really expected James Harden to get his wish so soon, especially after reports came out the other day that they can see him staying the full length of the season. I think Kevin O'Connor's reported that, but really for at least 3 of the 4 teams involved. I don't really know about Cleveland. I feel like they was just kind of just put in this trade to take on some contracts, but it's definitely gonna be interesting. Like, of course, Brooklyn. Like that's really gonna be the main team. Hopefully Kyrie's back in the lineup soon. I know he's out for his personal reasons. I'm not gonna come on here and take shots at Kyrie. Hopefully he's back in the lineup soon, because I'm excited to see him, James, and KD go at it. And my dad made a comment to me earlier when we was talking about it, about the trade, and he said now KD and James get to show that they should have been the duo lifting OKC. I think he was taking shots at Russ. I ain't gonna take no shots at Russ, but James got to reunite with Russ. That didn't work out, as planned. But now he gets to reunite with KD, probably in a better situation. I mean, Brooklyn seems like the hot spot. Yeah, so big day in the NBA, and that's just the trade. I mean, a lot of games going on too. Might have a lot more to talk about. Hopefully, no more games get postponed, as a lot has. So I'm gonna be back later this week to talk to y'all about just some of the takeaways I got from teams during the season. So just leave a like and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that episode. And also, in the future, I'm gonna have guys come on here, talk hoops with them, maybe interview them a little bit. Try to get some local hoopers on, shed some light on their careers and stuff. So, I got some big things planned for this channel. Hopefully, you guys will be able to support me along the way. Be patient with me. Kind of new to the YouTube grind, so I appreciate everything, all the support, y'all. Peace out.